Alright guys, in this video we will be going over how to solve for x by using our angle relationship facts. So for this first one here, I see that I have parallel lines cut by a transversal. I have my angle x, and then I have my angle up here, which is 56 degrees. Those two angles are corresponding. They're in the same relative position, just in these different, what I call intersections. So it's in the top right up here, and it's also in the top right here. We know corresponding angles are equal. Another way you can think of this is that this is an acute angle and this is an acute angle, and whenever you have two parallel lines cut by transversal, an acute angle will equal an acute angle. So in this case, x equals 56 degrees. For number 2, I have my angle of 70 degrees here, which is an acute angle, and I have my angle x minus 14 down here, which is an obtuse angle. Anytime you have an acute and an obtuse, once again in the same scenario where you have parallel lines cut by a transversal, you know that the acute plus the obtuse will have to add up and equal 180. You can also just know that these are same side interior. They're both interior angles and they're on the same side of the transversal. And these angles are what we consider supplementary. That just means that they have to add up to equal 180. So in this case, we're just going to write down what we know. So we know that 70 plus x minus 14 has to equal 180. And now we just have to solve for x. So I'm going to combine my like terms on the left-hand side. So 70 minus 14 is 56. So I have x plus 56 equals 180. And now to isolate for x, I'm going to subtract 56 from both sides to get x equals 124. Next, number 3, we're going to look at it the exact same way. So my angle here I know is acute. My angle down here I also know is acute. So just by that fact, I know that they're going to have to be equal to each other. Another fact that I can use is that these are vertical angles. They make that bow tie shape. Vertical angles always equal each other when you have these parallel lines cut by a transversal. So I'm just going to set them equal. So 5x minus 10 equals 3x plus 4. So I did angle 1 equals angle 2. We can use the box method to set up our work when we're solving for x. So I'm going to draw my boxes. And I want to get the x's on the left-hand side and the numbers on the right. So the 5x drops straight down. The 3x, because it crosses your equal sign, has to change signs, so negative 3x. The 4 drops straight down. And then the negative 10, because it crosses your equal sign, changes to positive 10. I'm going to add the two boxes together. So 5 plus negative 3 is 2x. 10 plus 4 is 14. And then your final step is always to divide by that number in front of x. So x equals 14 divided by 2, which is 7. Number 4, we're going to use the fact that the 3 interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. So I'm just going to take all 3 of these angles and then add them up to equal 180. So I'll have x plus 1, that's my first angle, plus x plus 8, my second angle, plus 63, which is my third angle, to equal 180. Remember, it does not matter what order you write them in on the left-hand side here. I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have 2 x's, and then I'm going to combine my numbers. So positive 1, positive 8, positive 63. When you add those together, you get 72. And now, to isolate for x, we want to get this 72 and move it to the other side with the other number. So the opposite of adding is subtracting. So we're going to subtract 72 from both sides. Those will add up to 0. So we get 2x equals 108. 108. And our last step is to divide by 2 in order to get that 2 in front of the x to go away, because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So we get x equals 54. And now our final step here is we're adding an external angle. So remember, your 3 interior angles still add up to 180, but this x is not one of those angles. It's on the outside of your triangle. So what we first need to figure out is, what is this last inside angle? I'm just going to call it y. So we're going to do the same thing we did for number 4 and add up those 3 angles to equal 180 to figure out what that y is. So remember, this box here means it's 90 degrees. So 90 plus 48 plus my third angle y has to equal 180. If I'm going to combine my like terms, I would combine these two and then subtract them over. So when I do that, I'm going to get that y equals 42. Now that I know that this angle is 42, I'm going to look at this area just right here. I notice that these 2 angles form a straight line. That means they have to add up to equal 180. They're supplementary angles. So I'm just going to write out that 42 plus x has to equal 180. And now to solve for x, I'm just going to subtract 42 from both sides. So I get x equals 138. And now you know more.